Donald Trump inherited a growing economy and a more peaceful world. And like everything else he inherited, he bankrupted it. When this president goes overseas, it isn't a goodwill mission, it's a blooper reel. He breaks up with our allies and writes love letters to dictators. America deserves a president who is looked up to, not laughed at. Donald Trump pretends Russia didn't attack our elections, and now he does nothing about Russia putting a bounty on our troops. So he won't defend our country. He doesn't know how to defend our troops. The only person he's interested in defending is himself. This is the bottom line. Our interests, our ideals, and our brave men and women in uniform can't afford 4 more years of Donald Trump.
John Kerry on Tuesday night at the Democratic National Convention with his review of President Trump's conduct on the world stage. And the former Secretary of State joins us now. Secretary Kerry, great to have you on, and I want to ask you more about those comments that we just heard. But first, can you comment on the news that we got over the past day that a Russian opposition figure, Navalny, is in a coma after an apparent poisoning?
Well, this is a pattern. I mean, we have seen Russian operatives murdering or attempting to murder people in other countries. It happened in England. It's not the first time. And it's really frightening by any standard that oppositionists in Russia apparently are subject to being assassinated or attempted assassinations anywhere in the world. I think it underscores the degree to which President Trump's unwillingness to say anything about Russian activities, from the interference in our election to their activities in other parts of the world, is having a negative impact on standards and expectations. Donald Trump has been breaking norms of every kind, but not without consequence. And the consequence of this is to create the wild, wild west out there, everywhere, east, west, north, and south.
So now to the remarks that you made last night. It's actually related on many levels, because President Trump, has made it very clear he really likes Vladimir Putin. He admires him, which many of us find very strange. We really don't understand, why there wasn't a translator or a note taker at some of these meetings. The whole thing is very unnerving, especially in light of the Senate Intel, bipartisan Senate Intel report that came out last week. But you talk about his appearances on the world stage really being more like a blooper reel. I remember the video of several world leaders sort of in a cluster laughing at him. Is he the laughingstock of the world? And I say that in all seriousness. And why does that matter?
Well, it matters because the credibility of the United States of America and the quality of our leadership has always made a difference. I mean, we assumed a huge responsibility in the aftermath of World War II when we executed the Marshall Plan. We did something unprecedented. We stood up and helped Germany and Japan, both of whom had initiated this conflict, and we brought them back. Today, Germany and Japan are our strongest allies. They are strong democracies. And what a difference the courage of that leadership made. We don't see that leadership today. We don't see the implementation of a strategy that the world desperately needs to be brought together to deal with countless major challenges, Mika, and you're familiar with all of them. I mean, cyber warfare. There's more cyber attacks and cyber interference in this world than ever before. We began in the Obama administration to establish some basic principles for the rules of the road for cyber. And our intention clearly was to have the next administration continue that. But this administration has done nothing about it. And they've given free license to bad actors in the world to be able to be disruptive. Donald Trump welcomes disruption. That's part of the Steve Bannon approach to life. And it's a hallmark of this administration, chaos. Every day there's another element of it. But the world doesn't work well that way. Not when you have a pandemic, not when you have nuclear weapons that are now being enlarged in the arsenals of various countries, not when you have the challenge of global climate crisis. You can only solve these problems, as I said at the convention, by coming together as nations and working in the ways that all the institutions we helped set up in the aftermath of World War II, that the way they were intended to work. They're not working that way today. And one of the principal reasons for that is the withdrawal of the United States of America as a force for convening, a force for putting big ideas on the table and for helping to cajole and jawbone and bring about the cooperation necessary for a world to work. Donald Trump just is the antithesis of that. And you look at something like North Korea. His love letters to Kim Jong-un belie the fact that only months before that, he was promising fire and fury for the situation that existed with their nuclear weapons. That hasn't changed, Mika. He's built more nuclear weapons. His arsenal is bigger today than it was. It's a greater threat to the United States and the world today than it was. And there's no fundamental arrangement. There's sort of an uneasy standoff, but that's not the real stuff of diplomacy. And so I think the world needs to recognize what President Obama said last night. Not only are we witnessing the diminishment of the American leadership role, but we're witnessing a challenge to our own democracy here at home. And it doesn't get more serious or more fundamental than that.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.